And don't worry, zero expectations. I mean, 8 years, if I haven't learned by now, when will I learn? Let's just get on with it. So I like to do these as like a little look back. It's just for me really because it's like it's fun for me to go back and look at them after the years have gone by. The different characters that pop up in them and et cetera, all the kind of behind the scenes stuff. I just think it's fun. So I'm going to walk through a little bit of the making of this, of Crown. I will say that my thoughts for this were specifically to come up with something that was a closure song. And I knew that I was going to use the Dummies beat and extrapolate upon it. And I have a couple different versions of that beat that I was circling through. And then I sat down one night, like super frustrated. My wife sat down with me and like we just went over and then we hashed them out and kind of made a decision on one. And this is like September. Like it was late in the game. Like I had been working on it all year. I just couldn't quite lock down what I wanted. The next thing was writing, which also took a long time. And like I said, this was supposed to be like my closure song, you know, the last one, because I was like, this is a lot of work and it's always at the end of the year and it takes a lot out of me and et cetera, et cetera. I don't know how much my lifestyle will continue to allow the opportunity to do these, just with my kids getting older and everything else. But as I was writing, I kept coming back to this same thing and it kept getting away from something that was closure and it kept getting onto this other topic. So I was like, well, I'm just going to explore this other topic and see where it goes. And every one of these songs has been about something, right? The first one was about the reviewers at the time, not all of them, but a fair amount. The second one was about internet trolls. The third one was about the fandom. The fourth one was about American distributors. The fifth one was about some of my viewership specifically. And then the sixth one was about me. And the seventh one was about my history in this. And then this one ended up kind of being about other content creators. And I don't mean that just on YouTube. I mean that kind of across the board. And not all of them, obviously. If you listen to Nerd Rage or you kind of are in the matrix of the stuff that I do, then you know that like I big up a fair amount of content creators and I think a lot of guys are doing a really great work out there. Really respectable, dependable work. It was about a lot of people that I feel like were borrowing the recipe without leaving a footnote. And when I mean borrowing, let me be clear, like everybody borrows from the person before you, right? Like I was definitely influenced by P.O. and I gave him credit on podcasts and stuff along the way. I was definitely influenced by Anthony's Customs. He was the first reviewer that I kind of became a fan of, and a lot of his terminology is terminology that I use. It's spilled over, right? But I big him up every chance that I get. And then I've been pretty good to a lot of people that have been on the come up or have been like kind of in my school of like my graduating class of guys that were like around the time that I came. TM Reviews makes an appearance in this video. Pake has been at my house. You know I love T2RX6. Like I just, there's a lot of guys that I think really highly of, both personally and professionally. But a lot of those guys kind of have their own vibe. But I kept seeing stuff. I saw stuff on YouTube. I saw stuff on Instagram. I saw stuff like a lot of different places of like just, I'm like, man, I did that. I did that exact thing, which is fine, right? None of us are doing anything completely original, but you can see your recipe, you can see your spice. And then some of them were even being disrespectful in a way. So I think that kind of stuff, I guess, was just in me and I needed to get it out. So that was it. And I'm getting it out. And then like, as soon as I was like, look, I'm just going to explore this, I had it done in a half hour. I actually wrote it on the way to an amusement park, oddly enough, with my family. Like it just flowed, like it was like I wasn't stopping myself, it just poured out. So like that must have been what I needed to do. A lot of this stuff I kind of try to let happen naturally, and this one I was trying to force it, and every time I try to force it, it never comes along, and then when I try to let it go naturally, it usually comes right out, so to speak. So the next thing I had to do was record it. I went back to Architect Studio with my guy E Black and recorded it. Now, my man E, he has found himself a girlfriend. And I think the girlfriend had him a little bit distracted. I think he's head over heels. I think he's Twitter-pated, is that what they called it in Bambi? But I'm not sure he was giving the mix 100% attention. So when I got it and was listening to it in the car, I was like, oh man, these vocals are really loud. So I hit him up and I was like, look man, I need a couple things fixed. I've never had this with him before. And it was really touch and go because the first video shoot was supposed to be at TFCon, which was at that point just, I think, 2 weeks later. And I had a hard time kind of getting him to commit to fixing it. But I should have trusted him. He came through in the 9th inning. The Thursday before TFCon, I literally had people at my house. And when they left, I got an email from E saying, here it is, I got it to you. So I want to thank him for that. Architect Studio, they're great people. So the next thing was starting the shoot. And the first shoot was at TFCon. I always like to include the community as much as possible. The only times I haven't included them was in spite, because it was about me. It was daggers were aimed at me, and then chlorine because of the lockdown, but I still ended up using stock footage of them. So that was good. A lot of good times there. A lot of antics. I wanted to make sure I got little cameos with people.
Head nod, whatever you want to do.
Oh yeah.
Look at this guy. This guy will hurt you in real life.
Word up. You are, man. Word.
What's up? Yeah. This is Adam. I just met Adam. Just go around. He's cool. Ricky. Finally get to meet Ricky. Oh, the Wolfenstein's the video game name family.
Get your McDonald's store. Get in here, guys.
Oh, look who's back into collecting.
What's up?
And poor Loretta comes to my house and she sits and reads a book and just doesn't complain. Just happy to be there.
She does at home too.
Gotta love it. My guy.
I love to see him.
Confused dog look.
Oh, confused dog look. Oh, Eric with the pinched nerve swag. These Gandalf the Grey.
Bobby, eyes up here.
Yeah, love to see it. Love to see it. You guys are looking good. Look at these two. Love them.
Hey.
That's my baby. Come on, tough guy, man. Come on. Sony.
Brooklyn, what's up, son?
What's up, Bobby? That's my dog. What's up, East Coast?
Dude, so happy you're back, man.
I'm happy to be back.
I've missed you. I've missed
Needed
you.
that break though.
One of the few women in the world that seemed to enjoy me in my house and with humor and didn't laugh, didn't get offended. We had a good time. I felt a good rapport. It was very nice. Oh yeah, all right.
And that was done at TFCon, like right in front of Cannon Yards in Baltimore, so it was even like a little bit more special for me. We actually, I talked to security, or actually I think Ricky may have talked to security. I forget who it was. Somebody talked to security ahead of time and was like, is it going to be okay if we all do this down here? And they were like, yeah, we don't care. So, love to see it. Very kind of historic for me, anyway, to have that piece of local history in something that I did. Or iconic local monuments of sorts, you know. Camden Yards, a big deal.
You ready?
That's good. Let's see it.
Press record.
I already did.
Okay. I might need to adjust.
Cut. Mean mugger. Mean mugger.
All right, here we go.
Alright, people.
That was one moment.
I went by my drink. What's up?
All right, thank you guys.
Don't forget to sign your NBA agreements.
All right, let's get a picture.
ROC pick, let's go.
So then what was next? So the next thing we did was shoot at the top of a garage, a parking garage. We actually did that near where I live, and God bless my wife, like she woke up super early so that we could get there at like the magic hour when the sun was rising. Left the kids here because my oldest can like look after them now, and like went up on the top of this parking deck and got footage and pictures and all that, and that was relatively uneventful. But I mean, the colors are great, and I think they were needed for that specifically for this video. They break it up a bit.
All right.
And then the next major piece was Fort Armistead. Now, I've talked about this a lot on Nerve Rage, so I'm not going to go into too much detail on it here, but for those that know, you know.
All right, so this is where we parked. Over here is somebody playing music. I don't know if you can tell, but back there
That's where the magic happens.
is where the magic happens.
Yikes. I've never seen you show before.
This is basically a fort. It's an abandoned fort that's now a park in Anne Arundel County, Maryland. But it's owned by Baltimore City. But since it's not in Baltimore City, the Baltimore Police Department don't really go there. And since it is part of Baltimore City, the Anne Arundel police don't feel any need to patrol it. So it's kind of the Wild West there. And as far as what takes place in the Wild West, I'll leave that to Nerd Rage. Listen into Nerd Rage episodes about it, and you can get the full story there. Well, my buddy Chris Pinkerton, co-host of Nerd Rage Radio, and I went down there, and we got some footage, and there was some wild stuff down there. It was a wild place with some wild stuff. Very, very, very uncomfortable for me, for whatever reason, and that's a whole nother conversation. But the people that frequent this place regularly were not interested in anybody making a music video there. That much I can guarantee you. Over the years, it's become somewhat of a dumping ground for people, because it's just nobody, it's the Wild West. And during the 2000s, they used to host raves there and stuff. That's why all the graffiti is there. And it's a wild, wild place. I'm sure there's YouTube videos about it and everything else if you're interested.
Gotta jump over there.
Gross. Wild. Be a hell of a Boy Scout project to come clean this up. Watch yourself on those.
Yeah, I know. Alright, that should do it.
Okay. Do you want to maybe have me, like, when you're doing the arms out thing a couple times, like up closer or something?
I think
You think you're good?
I think we're good.
Okay, dude.
And the next bit of this was to get footage of me and my youngest, and it's supposed to be like the Giving Tree, right? The Shel Silverstein book and the Giving Tree, like there's like the child that grows up and constantly takes from this tree, and then the tree at the end has nothing left to give, you know? Which just, there's a ton of meaning wrapped up in that for me, but I wanted to have that as like a visual cue in the video. And my baby wasn't crazy about it. My family hates getting involved in this, but I like to include them and always have.
All right, go walk up to the tree. All right, walk up to the tree, but slower. Look up at the tree. Look up at the tree, but slow. Look down, and then slowly look up at the tree. All right, just take a step back. All right, turn around and look at the tree. Just look at the tree. But no smiles. No frowns either, just regular face. Run around the tree. You see this stick over here? Over here, where I'm pointing at? Right here? Pick it up and then, not that one, this one over here.
This one?
No? More closer to me? Yes, that one. And then start being a sword fight. Be happy about it. Walk around slowly and pick up that apple. And then just look at the apple. Smile. All right, look straight. Not that way. All right, and we have your faces. That's his kids. 1, 2, 3. No, that's his kids. But say that's his kids. 1, 2, 3.
That's his kid. That's his kid.
You gotta say it together. 1, 2, 3.
That's his kid.
But look at the camera while you do it, Leia. 1, 2, 3.
That's kids.
1, 2, 3.
That's kids.
And that same day, we were supposed to film at this other location, but just as fate would have it, my fate in particular, there happened to be like some sort of 5K rally that was like organizing at that specific location. What are the chances, right? So I had to scrap that shoot altogether, which set me back because I wanted this done before I went to New York, and that didn't happen. So when I got back from New York, shortly after that, we had a get-together for my birthday, and a lot of my Nerve Rage guys, that's the only people I really invited to it, like came through and hung out, and I got one last shot with them. And since Nerve Rage has been such a big force for me this year, not only in terms of, you know, its success, but also in terms of my efforts, it was good to have that team really together, you know. And that's also where the intro footage from it goes, right? The thing about the bridge.
My right ball was a little too.
Oh my God! Do you find? So I'll tell you. You know the Joe. I want to say that like last week I had.
I was telling them, like, you know the alien queen and the aliens?
Yeah.
You know the exact thing that you got?
The ovipositor?
Yeah, the ovipositor.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep hitting my head on this thing, and they're all gonna know I got it at Costco's.
You're gonna headbutt the left ankle.
It's always super awkward until it's cut.
I was trying so hard not to laugh.
We gotta tighten this bad boy up.
Leave that shot in.
Better be nice.
It's Costco, we'll get more.
And then the last thing that I'll let you guys in on, which is just interesting, is I publish all this stuff through TuneCore, right? And that's like the distributor for online music, streaming. And here's some more irony for you. And it's just these companies, man. And you know how, if you know me, then you know how I can get with this stuff. But like, they put it out through their means on their own YouTube channel. Then I published the video. Then my TuneCore account filed a claim against my YouTube account for the use of the song. So it still has ads on it and stuff, but like instead of the 45-55 split on YouTube that I would get, they take the 55 split, send that to TuneCore. TuneCore then takes their 10% split, and then I get left with the 90% of the 100 that was 55% of the previous 100. Just all smoke and mirrors, man. Such a joke. I filed a dispute against it, and I lost my own dispute against myself. Who else? Who else, right? Unbelievable. And yeah, so that's it. And the good news is, for those that like this or look forward to this, is I'm not done. I still haven't had my closure song. And I'm just going to do it. As long as I feel like doing it, I'm going to keep doing it. It's fun for me, and I really enjoy the editing process. So there'll be another one this year for sure. With some big changes in locations, you might say. So with that, I hope you found it somewhat interesting, somewhat entertaining, a little behind the curtains look at some of this stuff, and I know I enjoy looking back on it. So yeah, the song is available on iTunes, Spotify, maybe Amazon Music, I can't forget where I'll put it, Apple Music, and of course YouTube. Thank you guys. I appreciate all the love and feedback on it, and it seemed to go over well, better than I expected, honestly. So thank you guys, I appreciate you, and till next time, take care. No. Don't bother. I'll see myself out.